Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
Well, the World Rally Championship gets underway in just over 2 weeks' time. So let's take a look at the opening round of the championship, the 88th running of the Monte Carlo Rally. And I was going to look at the winners of the last 10 Monte Carlo rallies, but Ogier has won the last 6. And I don't think it would be a very interesting video. Just, oh yeah, and Ogier won it this year as well. Sébastien Ogier is tied with Sébastien Loeb with 7 Monte Carlo rallies each. Ogier's first in 2009 was in the Intercontinental Rally Challenge and not the World Rally Championship, but both drivers will have an opportunity to take an 8th Monte Carlo rally win. Some big driver changes over the summer, especially with Citroën leaving the sport again, and Ogier deciding to replace Tanak at Toyota being the biggest surprise. Chasing success after dominating the sport for so long is the folly of many motorsport champions, desperate to stay at the top of the game. But Toyota did take Tanak to his first championship last year and will be competitive again this year, and Ogier is a 6-time champion, so you can't discount him. Joining him in the completely new lineup is Elfyn Evans and Kalle Rovanperä. Evans is a steady hand, but last year's World Rally Championship 2 champion, in my opinion, is the real deal. I think he could be this year's breakout star. Challenging Toyota is Hyundai, who won their first Manufacturers' Championship last year. Neuville returns for a 7th year with the team and is joined by last year's Drivers' Champion, Ott Tanak. 2 of the top stars in the same team will make things interesting. We will have to see if Tanak adapts to his new car quickly, or can Thierry Neuville capitalise and finally become champion. Ford are the final manufacturer entry, with the 2 young Finns, Lappi and Suninen, taking the reins. I think they'll struggle this year. Lappi looked good when he won at Finland, but struggled with Citroën last year, while Suninen has always looked a bit average to me. They'll score points, but not much more. A lot of part-time entries this year too. Sébastien Loeb and Danny Sordo sharing the 3rd Hyundai car, and there's talk of a 4th Hyundai to be shared by Mikkelsen and Breen at selected events. Toyota will continue to give Katsuta drives to give him experience. I expect him to make a full drive within the next couple of years, and to be fair, he looks a decent shout. Whilst experienced hand Latvala will also be entering selected events depending on his budget. And young Gus Greensmith will have a Ford for 9 events, again more of a gaining experience kind of deal for him too. There's only 7 full-time entries though, the field's looking a little light. Now I'm not going to do a full championship predictions video, only 7 full drivers, there's not really much point. So instead here are 10 random predictions for the World Rally Championship in 2020. Number 1. Sébastien Ogier will win the Monte Carlo Rally for the 7th year in a row. And a record-breaking 8th Monte Carlo Rally. He really is the master of this event, and I expect him to get off to a flying start with the Toyota team in 2020, but I expect him to struggle more throughout the year. I think it's going to be a tough time competing against the Hyundais, and we could see the 6-time champion maybe slowly drift down the field. Number 2, Thierry Neuville will finally be champion. He has to, right? He has come second 5 times. Surely this is his year. His main rivals are in new cars and they will be getting used to their machinery early on, and Neuville has to capitalise. And cut out the big mistakes that always seem to cost him points at critical times in the championship. Number 3, Kalle Rovanperä will impress this year and beat Ogier to 3rd. This is probably the most risky on the list. He's unproven at this level, but looked really good in the WRC too. I think a first win, multiple podiums, top Finn, and demoting Ogier to 4th in the overall championship. Number 4, Ford will struggle. Things don't look good for Ford. They have the weakest drivers lineup, the worst form going into the championship, and Ford themselves don't really seem that bothered about the WRC anymore. They're there by the passion of Malcolm Wilson, and this will be a tough year for the Ford drivers. Number 5, Takamoto Katsuta to take a 1st podium place. He only got a couple of runs with Toyota last year, but the Japanese driver looks decent, and with the backing of Toyota and the end game surely a full drive at some point, look for him to impress this year. Number 6, Sebastian Loeb to win at least one rally. The 9-time champion may only be racing part-time, but that doesn't stop him from winning occasionally. With the Hyundai team, it will only take a couple of top drivers crashing out to get him on the top step. Number 7, Hyundai to conquer all. Hyundai took their first manufacturer's title last year, and this year my prediction is drivers and manufacturers. They have two of the best drivers in the field and a competitive car, so why not? Number 8, Teemu Sunninen to finish behind at least one part-time runner. Well, he was beaten by 3 last year, and whilst I expect him to do slightly better, look for Latvala or Sordo to outscore him even though they're only racing on a part-time basis. Number 9, Oliver Solberg to score his first WRC points. Not much is known about the son of 2003 champion Petter Solberg's plans for 2020. Linked with a Skoda drive for 2020, he is entering his own Volkswagen Polo in the Monte Carlo rally. But at some point this year he will get a top 10 finish. And number 10, a new manufacturer for 2021 to be announced before the season finale. This is an unlikely one, with WRC introducing new hybrid rules for 2022, but a new manufacturer might want to get a new car ready, at least on a part-time basis, for 2021, testing its suitability for the years beyond. There's a wealth of former and new manufacturers who could enter cars onto the grid, and I expect an announcement at some point during the year. So that's my predictions. Do you agree? Do you have your own? Am I completely wrong? Hey, I usually am, so why change the habits of a lifetime? These are just some of my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours, and whilst you're here, why not subscribe and like and all that kerfuffle? I'd love to have you round and experience the motorsport of 2020 together. With that said, keep watching and have a good one.